Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday number 94 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves a pack of Aether Revolt here. We're going to crack it open, see what's in it, and see what we would take. Pack one, pick one if this was a draft. And hopefully it's not Spire of Industry for the third week in a row. We can always hope, right? Alright. Up first is Evasion. Evasion is a single white mana for an instant. Choose one. Target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn, or return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I like Evasion quite a bit. The single white mana and the flexibility of choosing combat trick or revolt enabler slash removal insurance slash etc. is really, really good. I always like to have an Evasion in basically every white deck, but it's not a first pick. Very middle of the pack pick. Up next is Aether Chaser. Aether Chaser is 1 and a red for a creature, human, artificer. It's a 2/1. It's got first strike. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy to get yourself a 1/1 servo. It's fine. It's one of the ethers that I like. I like it. I like the blue one, and I like the black one quite a bit. The green one's neither here nor there, and the white one I really dislike. I would prefer not to first pick it. I think this pack will get better, but yeah, we'll see. Already a card that I think I would pick over the Aether Chaser is Leave in the Dust. Leave in the Dust is 3 and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Draw a card. Instant speed bounce plus cantripping is really, really good. I like Leave in the Dust quite a bit. I wish blue was better in this format than it is. I think this can stay in the frame for the time being as a first pickable card. Instant speed bounce, very, very good. Instant speed servos and indestructible, less good. Renegades get away 2 and a black for an instant. Target permanent gains indestructible, and you get a 1/1 servo. We talked about this last week. It's way too expensive for every single part of it. It's way too expensive for every single part of it put together. Just not a card I like to play at all. It's certainly not first pick. Silk Waiver Elite is up next. 2 and a green for a creature, elf, archer. It's a 2/2 with reach, and then if you revolted, you get to draw a card. I don't know if I've ever really seen somebody draw a card off this. It happens so rarely. It's really just a 2/2 reach for 3, which I think is more of a sideboard card than it is a main deck card. If you are a dedicated revolt deck, you have tons of ways of revolting. This probably finds its way into the main deck, but I think generally this sticks in the sideboard until you see yourself up against flyers. Negate is up next. 1 and a blue for an instant counter target non-creature spell. In sealed, you generally play one of these, and in draft, you generally keep them in the sideboard always. We've probably talked about Negate a billion times on this channel. No real reason to rehash it. There's just so few targets that it's going to hit, so not a chance. Confluent Turret, 3 generic mana for an artifact. You get tap, you get an energy, tap, pay 3 energy, it deals 2 damage to target player. This is so ridiculously slow, I don't think you should ever play it. The days of having infinite energy are kind of gone. Kaladesh was where the massive amounts of energy production lived. They don't really live in Aether Revolt too much. So I don't really see a reason to ever really play Confluent Turret, and even if you have an infinite amount of energy, this is still a 10-turn clock to do all that damage if your opponent's at 20. Not a fan of Confluent Turret. Certainly never a first pick, and I personally don't think you should ever play it. Aether Stream Leopard. Here's something I like. 2 and a green for a 2/3 creature cat with trample. It gives you an energy when it comes in, and then when it attacks, you can pay an energy to give it +2/+0 until end of turn. A 4/3 trample for 3 mana is really, really good. Even if you get to attack with this one time as a 4/3, it's fairly solid, and if you're in green, you're probably going to be making some more energy or getting some more energy somewhere, and having multiple turns as this being a 4/3 trample is really good. I would first pick an Aether Stream Leopard. I would not think the pack was terribly strong if I did, but I would first pick it. Welder Automaton is up next. Welder Automaton is 2 generic mana for an artifact creature construct. It's a 2/1, which is probably just flat out the best stats cost ratio for most of the automatons. And the effect isn't too bad either. 3 and a red to deal 1 damage to each opponent. I don't really put too much stock into that effect. Yes, if the game goes super ridiculously late, you've got a way to help finish off your opponent. But the games just don't seem to go that late in Aether Revolt. Aether Revolt seems like a very fast format, and if you're in red and playing 2/1s for 2, I have a feeling you are not going to win the game on turn 15 by pinging your opponent for 1, maybe 2 a turn. If that happens, things have gone horrifyingly bad. Yeah, Welder Automaton, not a first pick, but generally fine card. Our final common, which means 10 commons, unfortunately, so no foil. Sad face. We've got Foundry Assembler, 5 generic mana for an artifact creature assembly worker, 3/3 improvise. As we've talked about, you would need to basically have this cost 0 to really feel like you got him and really cheated this out. I don't like Foundry Assembler. It is no self-assembler, and self-assembler's days are numbered as well. Not a first pick. Not even really playable. Well, we can end the video here. Untethered Express, 4 generic mana for an artifact vehicle, 4/4 trample. Whenever it attacks, you get a +1/+1 counter on it, and it crews 1 for some weird reason. This is one of the 2 or 3 cards in Aether Revolt that I think is just utterly broken, and I'm honestly curious how it got past R&D for limited purposes. This is going to be the easy first pick in this pack, barring a crazy rare. But yeah, that's going to stay in frame for right now, and probably just stay in the center. Our second uncommon doesn't compete. It is Foundry Hornet, 3 and a black for creature insect, 2/3 flyer, which is fine enough stats, although we have a 2/3 flyer for 3 in the set. And when it enters the battlefield, if you have a creature with a +1/+1 counter, all of your opponent's creatures get -1/-1. Fine enough if you're in black-green. If you're not, it becomes much worse. Yeah, it's just kind of fine and has no competition against Untethered Express. Our final uncommon is Maverick Thopterist. Maverick Thopterist is 3 blue-red for a 2/2 with improvise, and when it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 Thopters. I like Maverick Thopterist quite a bit. If you can get this out on turn 4 or earlier, then boy, you are just going off. I think it's a relatively powerful card. That being said, being 2 colors, I don't think I'd ever first pick it, even in a pack that didn't have Untethered Express. Still a highish pick, though, I think. I think it's very powerful, but not first pick. So the rare that's going to compete against Untethered Express is Yahenni's Expertise. 2 black for a sorcery. All creatures get -3/-3 until end of turn. You may cast a card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Very powerful card. I would first pick this if this pack didn't have the Untethered Express. Yeah, being able to Wrath the board plus get a 3-drop out of your hand, or 2 or 1, depending on what's in your hand, but hopefully a 3-drop is really good. Resetting the board and getting yourself a creature or something like that, just super solid. I really like Yahenni's Expertise. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but it's super good. But this is just one of those easy packs again, where Untethered Express is the clear choice. Let me know if you agree with it being the clear choice. I don't think there's any real discussion when there's an Untethered Express in the pack, just like Ridge-Scale Tusker and Pacification Array. As always, let me know in the comments what you would have taken here. Is it the Untethered Express or is it something else, and why? As always, you can find me on Twitter at TheManaLeak. That's LEEK, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at twitch.tv/TheManaLeak, facebook.com/TheManaLeak, and patreon.com/TheManaLeak, where you can work towards earning one of these playmats. The first one actually went out a couple weeks ago. So check that out. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.